My mother handed me a letter and told me to burn it without reading it, not tear it up, not lock it away. Burn it. She said if I opened it, I would never look at her the same way again. I waited 3 days, and then I read it. My mother has never been a dramatic person. She's practical, direct, the kind of woman who believes emotions should be handled quietly and efficiently. So when she showed up at my apartment one afternoon, holding an old envelope with shaking hands, I knew something was seriously wrong. The letter itself looked ancient. The edges were yellowed, the paper brittle. My name was written on the front in a script I didn't recognize. The ink faded from years of being hidden away. She didn't sit down when I let her in. She didn't offer any explanation. She just held it out to me and said, "Promise me you'll burn this without opening it." I laughed at first. I genuinely thought it was some kind of elaborate joke. But it wasn't. The moment I saw her eyes already wet with unshed tears, I knew this was real. The smile fell from my face. I asked her what it was. What could possibly be so terrible? She just shook her head. I asked who it was from. She said that didn't matter. Then she said something that has stayed with me ever since. Some truths don't heal. They only change things. She told me the letter was written before I was even born. That she had carried it, this silent burden, for decades. And that finally giving it to me, even with this strange command, was the hardest thing she had ever had to do. I promised her. I still don't know exactly why I agreed so quickly. Maybe it was because I could see the profound pain in her face. Maybe it's because, deep down, we trust our parents even when we don't understand them. She left soon after that. She didn't hug me. She didn't even look back as she walked away. That letter sat on my kitchen table for 3 full days. It became the center of my apartment, an object of immense gravity. I'd move it from the table to a drawer, then back to the table again, as if changing its location would lessen its power. But every time I walked past it, it felt heavier. I tried to go about my normal life, but my mind was consumed with possibilities. I tried to imagine what could be so bad that my own mother, the most stoic person I know, would beg me not to read it. Had she had an affair? Committed some kind of crime? Was I secretly adopted? Every scenario I conjured felt both plausible and completely wrong. And with every unanswered question, the promise I had made became harder and harder to keep. The silence was deafening. On the 3rd night, sleep was impossible. I found myself standing in the kitchen, the soft glow from the streetlights illuminating the envelope in my hands. I held it, staring at my name on the front. I told myself I would just look at the first line. Just a peek, just enough to understand what this was all about. That's all. I carefully broke the seal. The letter wasn't very long. It began with words that sent a chill through me. I don't know if you'll ever read this. But if you do, it means I wasn't strong enough to stop you. My heart started racing, pounding against my ribs. The writer explained that they had loved my mother deeply, more than anything. That they had desperately wanted a life with her, a future. But circumstances, cruel and unyielding, had made that impossible. They wrote about a choice, a painful one. A choice made to protect someone who would never even know the cost of that sacrifice. And then I read the sentence that made my hands go cold and my breath catch in my throat. I am your biological parent. The world just stopped for a moment. I had to read it again and then a 3rd time. It felt unreal, but the letter wasn't angry. It wasn't manipulative or demanding. The tone was careful, almost gentle. They explained they had never wanted to interfere in my life. That my mother was the one who raised me, who protected me, who stayed up with me when I was sick, who shaped the person I became. The writer made it clear, biology didn't make them a parent. Love did. The letter ended with a single, selfless request. Please don't let this truth hurt her. She carried it so you wouldn't have to. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, reading the letter over and over, the words imprinting themselves onto my mind. The next morning, running on pure adrenaline, I drove to my mother's house. I didn't even call first. The moment she opened the door and saw my face, she knew. She knew I had broken my promise. She didn't ask. She didn't get angry. Her shoulders just slumped in defeat, and she whispered, "I'm sorry." She told me everything. About being young and scared and alone. About choosing a path of stability over one of chaos and uncertainty. She spoke of a love that was real but impossible, and of another love, for me, that was so powerful she was willing to live with a lie for her entire life to protect it. "I wasn't trying to steal you from anyone," she said, her voice cracking. "I was trying to save you." We sat together at her kitchen table for hours. We cried. We talked. We remembered little moments from my childhood that now had a completely new meaning. And somewhere between the tears and the decades of unspoken truths, I realized something incredibly important. The letter didn't change who my mother was to me. It explained her. It explained the quiet sadness I sometimes saw in her eyes, her fierce protectiveness, the incredible depth of her love. I never burned the letter. But I didn't let it burn her either. Because family isn't something that's written in ink on a piece of faded paper. It's written in years, in sacrifice, in scraped knees and bedtime stories. It's written in showing up, day after day, year after year. If this story made you think about family, identity, or the truths we inherit, follow for more stories like this. Some secrets hurt when they're revealed, but some can heal us when they're finally understood. Thanks for listening.